All right, it looks like we got Cameron's proposal, and immediately one of the things that I notice that he does very well is being able to formulate a question. It's a very clear statistical question where he is trying to measure some sort of cause and effect that can be seen by drinking an energy drink and the speed of the students that he will be collecting data from. I was also a fan of the idea of using the same subjects before and after. It's a good paired design. That way we could possibly see that causal effect between drinking an energy drink and their speed. I also like the fact that he mentioned how he was going to collect the data, or specifically what the data was that he was going to collect, because he does not mention exactly how he will collect the data. But they will be running a quarter mile, and he will be clocking them from start to end to see how many seconds it takes for them to complete the quarter mile. I also like the fact that he recognizes the limitations of his proposal, mainly the population size. He does have 30 people that volunteered, which could, be a little bit better if he decided to do some sort of random sampling. But at least he's seeing that there is some sort of limitation to the population that he's doing, as well as the energy drink in which he is providing. This is not energy drinks in total. This could be seen as him recognizing that this could be this particular energy drink that might be causing the effect on the students. So what I can see is that he has a pretty good understanding on the formulating the question. Collecting data, I wish he would expand a little bit more on how he is going to collect the data. And then the issue that I started seeing was with the analyzing of the data. That was one of the first ones that really caught my eye. Using a box plot is fine, but because this is paired data, he should find a way to maybe analyze the differences of the before and the after. Also, another thing that I noticed was the fatigue, because each student is running twice, even with an hour difference, that could affect the time. The time gap between when they take the energy drink to when they run the second race could also affect or minimize the effect of the energy drink on their run. But overall, pretty good proposal. Just a few tweaks that I would probably recommend to Cameron. Hey Cameron, it's Mr. Valdez. I just got your proposal. And I just want to start off by saying I really like your question and the effort that you're putting into designing this experiment. I like the fact that you're measuring how long it takes for the students to run a quarter mile. Trying to get that very good, concise, quantitative data. And I like the fact that you're using the same students before and after to try to control for that differences between the individuals. And I just think that you're on the right track. No pun intended, actually pun intended. But one thing I want you to kind of maybe consider is that there might be an effect happening due to the fatigue that running 2 laps would cause. So maybe if you wanted to strengthen your design a little bit, try to consider a way how we could remove that confounding variable. I don't know. I remember when we were talking about control groups, that might be a way to implement into this study to try to strengthen it up a little bit. And I also noticed that you were talking about box plots. Just a reminder, right? Box plots, remember what we were trying to do with box plots, trying to see the spread of the data. And your question and your design of the study is showing the differences between the before and after times. So, maybe try to think of something different than a box plot. Any other question that you might have, I'm here to help. All right, now we move on to Austin's proposal. And much like Cameron's, one of the things that stands out is that it's a very clear and testable question. So he does seem to have a very strong understanding on how to formulate a statistically relevant question. I also noticed that Austin uses or has the use of randomization by introducing a coin flip in determining the brand of the basketball that he will be shooting with before taking the shot, which is huge. I think it shows that Austin is understanding that there might be a level of bias in pre-knowing which basketball brand is going to be used. I like the fact that Austin is collecting categorical data with the makes, the misses, and since those are the only two things that he's collecting data on, it makes it a very concise experiment or the data collection. I also like the fact that there is a large number of trials. 100 shots might not be the be-all end-all to determine if it decides whether it does affect the free throw shot or not, but it's a good amount of data to see if there's a trend that's going to emerge. But with Austin, we see one big problem, and it's the fact that he thinks that there are no limitations to his experiment and his design. And there's a couple that could that stick out. One is that it's only one person, being himself. So it's very hard to generalize these results to the population at large when it's only him taking the free throw shots. Also, I did mention that it's great that it's a large sample size, but the fact that it is 100 shots, it does show, or it can, the performance can change over time. So that will be another thing that might be a limitation to his design. Also, we can see that Austin should be comparing proportionality of the shots made to the shots missed, not just plotting them out. So though he does have a very strong understanding of randomization, he has a lack of awareness of sampling limitations and the variability that comes along with it. Hey Austin, Mr. Valdez here. Just got your project proposal, and I just want to start off by saying that I really enjoy the setup that you have for your experiment. I enjoy that you're trying to add a bit of randomness into deciding which brand of basketball you're gonna get before you take a shot by implementing some sort of coin flip. Very good way of trying to limit the bias and the effect that the bias might have in our results. I also like the fact that you're trying to get a good size data set by taking 100 shots. As we know, the basketball fans that we are, you don't just say a basketball player is good because they make 1 or 2 free throws. You say that they're good because they've made countless of free throws, because there's such a large amount of trials that we can look back on and see how well they do over a large span of time and free throw attempts that they've made, which makes our results more reliable for the experiment that you're trying to conduct. So that, along with keeping track of whether the shot was made or missed, is a very solid way to gather data for the question that you're asking. But I noticed something. You're taking all the shots. I don't know how spaced out you're planning to make this experiment for. I know I get tired after shooting 10 shots, right? So I don't know how you would feel after 100. So there might be ways of trying to mitigate that. Either spacing it out, maybe invite some other friends, which could also make the results more generalized to the population at large. You might have a basketball that you prefer, but your friend might have a different one. So, bringing other people in, that way we can see how the different brands affect a multitude of people. The way that you randomized for which basketball to use before the shot, we can almost do the same thing with other participants in this study. Maybe ask Cameron. I think he's running a track study. I don't think he's running it, so he might be available. But overall, you have a very strong experimental setup, especially with your user randomization. Just paying attention a little bit to the limitations of the experiment, and your project is on the right track.